This episode is brought to you by McAfee.
Yes! Playoff tickets! Just need to click here and... Wait, what? Fake site? Good thing McAfee threw the red flag. That would have been $400 gone.
McAfee blocks risky sites so you don't pay for seats and other things that don't exist. Plans start at just $39.99 for your first year. That's cheaper than parking on game day. Learn more at McAfee.com/online protection.
The McDonald's Snack Wrap is back. You brought it back. Ranch Snack Wrap. Spicy Snack Wrap. You broke the internet for a snack. Snack Wrap is back. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Popeye's Scary Good new Freddy Fazbear Box has garlic palm tenders and cheesy bites with marinara sauce. Try it before it's too late. And see Five Nights at Freddy's 2, only in theaters. Love that chicken from Popeyes. Limited time at participating U.S. restaurants.
You're listening to Achtung, Millwall, broadcasting from the beautiful South Birmingham. Accept no substitute.
Welcome, dear listeners. Welcome to Achtung Millwall. My name is Nick Hart. You're listening to the, of course, #1 Millwall podcast. Lions are just coming out to the pitch for this afternoon's fixture against Hull City. The Lions have been decimated, dear listeners. Yet more injuries. Dan Kelly apparently is pulled up with a hamstring in training. Your Lions team, therefore, I've got my football boots with me just in case. Offer you no reassurance at all. I don't have any pace and I'm no good on the ball, but maybe I'll find a spot. Crocombe in goal, back line therefore, Sturge returns, Kramer on the other side and the right back position, Cooper and Taylor in the middle. I'm going to guess it's going to be Doughty in the middle alongside Negley. In front of those two we'll have Reece Bangura Williams, Femi Aziz, Tierno Ballo, and up front Mihailo Ivanovic. After a week, obviously the midweek draw would have taken the energy levels down below zero for the side this afternoon. We are up against Hull City, who come into the game sitting in 6th spots. Look like a decent playoff shout themselves, 31 points. We're still third, and miraculously after that 1-1 draw at Derby. But no, we need, we've got an injury list longer than Lewis Shemaini on Saturday night. We need another miracle, basically. We're going to need support, says Alex Neal, speaking to the news at Den, hoping that with the fans they can give us a lift. It's quite a tight, packed spot. We've got tourists in the house, dear listeners. And I'm squeezed right in the corner, bird-shit corner. It's a lovely sunny afternoon. Floodlights are on, it will get darker obviously, but at the moment brilliant sunshine. We've just had the pre-match Stockers Day players of the season, Brian Hall, Stuart Nethercott and Dave Hall, three great names from the past there. Lions of course in dark blue and white, Hull City in their famous amber and black. And Tigers. Everyone I spoke to outside the ground coming in today made the same point. How are we third with this incredible injury list? I don't know if I can remember anything quite like it. Dan Kelly apparently pulling up with a hamstring, so we'll have to wait to see how bad that is, what that does for his season. He's been playing really well. I thought he did a good job up there at Derby and of course at Bristol last week. So it's very much wing and a prayer. Makeshift 11, dear listeners. Going to leave the Den behind it this afternoon. Let's see what we get. Looks like the Lions will be attacking the away end in the first half, as per the teachings of the Venerable Bede, the Archbishop of Canterbury, way back when in Anglo-Saxon England, who wrote in his Anglo-Saxon Chronicle that the Mill shall attack the away end in the first half. That is indeed how it's going to be. So it's going to be Hull City to kick us off, dear listeners. And away we go, dear listeners. No, we don't. It wasn't quite on the point of 3 p.m. We've been doing this a lot lately, I've noticed. Getting ready to go about a minute early, and referees must be under instructions not to kick off until the point of 3 o'clock. Finally, we get the game started. This is Kramer, shot on goal. Oh, batted around the left side post. I think the shot had huge amounts of power on it, listeners, but it was on target. Clearly the goalkeeper's got down low on right and put it round for a right-sided corner. Inside the first minute. In it comes. Imagine curling away towards Cooper, but just get evades him, and Hull will bring out. Great tackle. Camille Negley releases the ball, releases it to Femi Aziz on the right side, shot in target. Oh, but header from Ivanovic, the ball still loose. scuffed away. Wow, 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 wow. Lions opened up with all guns blazing, your listeners. Beautiful shot in from Femi Aziz there, but batted away. It's going to be a right-sided throw-in. Good work by Camille Negli there, listeners. So maybe he's found his role in this deeper midfield position. I don't know. This is Ballo now on the left side. Ball in. This is a little back heel from Taylor towards Reece Bangura. Lions pick up possession again. Bit of early pressure here from Millwall, dear listeners. It's floated in towards Cooper. Falls to Bangura. Shot blocked. It's all go, listeners. Wow. Ballo now on the left side. Pressure. Ball floated in. Bouncing around and away. It falls to Reece Bangura. Can he get a shot away? No, he finds Ballo on the left side. This is great pressure here from Millwall. We keep possession. This is now Sturge. Deep ball from Doughty. Finds Aziz, and it will fall into the arms of not literally the arms of a yellow shirt. Great tackle there by Doughty in midfield. The crowd will get behind this kind of play, listeners. Well, it's helter-skelter. Millwall still keeping the ball in play. 3 minutes, going towards 4 minutes. Taylor. Aziz on the left side. Taylor again, surging forward. Ball into the middle, into the arms of the goalkeeper. Nice passage of play by Millwall, listeners. Bright start. This is the 10 now, breaking on the right side. Ball into the middle. 1-0. Slotted in from the inside the 6-yard box. The 10. 5 minutes. You need to see that again. It looked like lax defending there, to be honest. Ball into the right side, slotted home from close. 1-0 Hull City. This is Reece here, shot on target, tipped over. Shot was on target, tipped over by the Hull City goalkeeper. Lions are looking to play an open style here, so goals may be expected this afternoon, listeners. Great take by Ivanovic from a high ball forwards. He's on the left side. He's going to go for a throw-in. Well, after a pretty bright start by the Lions, we might feel ourselves a little bit aggrieved to be a goal behind. We're coming towards 12 minutes into the game. But we've shown some desire to get the ball forwards. Gone close a couple of times, a couple of shots on target. So it's cause for hope. This is Negli by the centre circle now. He finds Ballo on the left side. Offside judged. Can't have been much in that. Well, I haven't seen it deemed as I haven't seen it announced rather as a sellout, listeners. It's very tightly packed here in Block 1. I don't know if the Groupon deal is doing its rounds again. A few seats around the stadium, but it falls to Aziz here. Breaks now for Hull City. Man free on the left side. Into the penalty area, shot across the goal, 2-0. Ball in from the left side with 2 down. Close range, ball in from the left, put in from inside the 6-yard box. Well, mounting to climb now, listeners, and it's starting to look a bit like Mount Everest at the moment, but we'll stay in the game. Try not to concede another one. Well, 15 minutes now, and truth is, Lions have been cut apart for both Hull City goals. We have had some bright moments, but that's no consolation when you're 2-0 down, dear listeners. So at the moment, we're staring a very long shotgun in the face, it feels like. Well, very flat vibes, listeners, as you can imagine, around the stadium. We're on 17 minutes, going towards 18 minutes. Not much going for Millwall at the moment. Every decision going against us, and the bright start seems quite a long while ago. Injury hit. Bench, it doesn't enable much to be. What's everyone standing up for? This is the rubber neck kind of syndrome. Everyone's standing up to see something. I'm not sure there's anything to see. I think 3-0 will be good night Vienna, dear listeners. 2-0 feels not far short of it, but 3-0 will certainly be the coup de grace. The coup de grace. Coup de grace. Offsided free kick then, Hull City. 3 takes, and it comes. Headed away by Cooper. Offside. Ironic cheers for a referee. It's not giving us much. but in truth, this is, at the moment, a performance, a scoreline that is we're the architect of our own misfortunes, in my opinion, but too much space given on both flanks and easy chances inside the 6-yard box for Hull City. Oh, there we are. Taken turn Ballo. Ball through, finds Aziz, what can he do? Put wide, unfortunately. Corner, blocked. Looks like the Hull City's defender's taken a knock there. Little moment of freedom there for Aziz, but the defender did well, in truth. 22 goals, 23 minutes. This is right-sided corner for Millwall. Stupid thing is, with a scoreline of 2-0 down, is we've actually looked pretty bright getting forwards, men in space, but so far to no avail. A goal will transform the spirits inside the stadium. It's a flat kind of nothingness at the moment. Crowd doing its best to get behind the team. We've not been given huge amounts, but as I said earlier on, we have had some bright moments, so we're not out of this, listeners. Ball into the box towards Aziz, just over his head. Nice idea. 26 minutes. We've got to say, listeners, it's quite hard to see where the goal's going to come from at the moment. It looks like a big, steep mountain in front of us, as we've said already. North face of the Eiger. But one goal might change the mood. He says just as Hull City start the break forwards, yet another break forwards. We're obviously trying to push men forwards. This is Cooper on a run forwards. He gets clipped. It's got to be a free kick. Should be a yellow card. To the 27. No yellow card. How many times do we have to complain about the quality of refereeing that we get, listeners? Ball breaks. This is the 10 on the right side of the Mill penalty area. Cuts inside. Ooh, curling shot just wide left. Not far wide left either. 37 minutes. Nothing much working for the Lions right now, listeners. It's been a very flat afternoon so far from a Mill perspective. 1 or 2 bright moments to start off with, and then we're 2-0 behind before you can shake a lamb's tail. Since then, we've huffed and puffed, but not really got anything going, in truth. And with the injury crisis we've got, it's quite hard to see what Alex Neil can do at half-time to address matters. We could use a goal badly. Quality of our passing forwards at times not been great. We've been giving the ball back to Hull City. Hull City on their right, our left, ball into the middle. That's taken by Crocombe in the face of a striker. The ball just bobbled through to him, but he took it comfortably enough. We're on, 44 minutes. Oh, Sturge done with it. He's let the ball be nicked off him by the 10 on the right side. If we get punished for this, this will really, really hurt, listeners. Shot was blocked there. The 27's on the edge of the penalty area. Hull still in possession. The immediate moment as the panic has passed us, but they're on the right side now. The 2 into the box will be cleared by Aziz. Ticking towards the last few seconds of a very disappointing half of football. Lions had some bright moments either side of the first goal, but on both occasions, first goal and then second goal, we seem to be pulled apart on both flanks. Crosses in from right and left side, both times with a free striker to slot it in with ease, with aplomb. Since this second goal, we've really not done much. Like a deflated tyre, dear listeners. There's half time. Hull City 0, Millwall 2, dear listeners. Let's hope for better after the break. Stay tuned.
The Who's Down in Who Newville were making their list, but some didn't know Walmart has the best brands for their gifts.
What about toys? Do they have brands kids have been wanting all year?
Yep, Barbie, Tony's, and Lego. Gifts that will make them all cheer.
Do you mean they have all the brands I adore?
They have Nintendo, Nespresso, Apple, and more.
What about...
So the Who answered questions from friends till they were blue. Each one listened and shouted, from Walmart? Who knew? Shop gifts from top brands for everyone on your list in the Walmart app.
Okay, Chad. Today you're gonna drive the all-electric Toyota BZ.
But my electric vehicle phobia. I'm not ready, Dr. Ross.
I believe in you.
Oh my gosh. We're inside it.
Try to take deep breaths, okay?
The ventilated seats, they're touching me.
You can do this, Chad. Drive the car. How do you feel, Chad?
I feel cured. Woohoo! I'm doing it! I'm doing it!
The all-electric BZ. One drive can change your mind. Toyota. Let's go places.
Welcome back, dear listeners. Second half with stout hearts and clear eyes. What they used to say on Friday Night Lights, was it? Can't remember. Stout hearts, clear eyes, can't lose. 2-0 down at half time. Looks like Joe Bryan is coming. I'm going to guess that's for Sturge, who didn't look totally on it. For me, it is Sturge indeed. Second half. Lions, actually, at the early part of that half, actually had 1 or 2 good attacking moments, but it's obviously completely off the boil with the 2 goals, 6 minutes and 13 minutes I've just read on the BBC website. So here we go for the second half. It will be Camille Negley to kick us off. That will please the Camille Negley fan club that has its local chapter here in Block 1. Lions attacking a cold blow, of course, second half. Dusk is falling now. Away we go. Floodlights illuminate the pitch. Just a pink glow in the sky. A few chemtrails in the sky. Maybe that's what's doing our injury crisis no good at all, listeners. The chemtrails responsible for everything nowadays, aren't they? Crowd trying to urge on their Lions has been very precious little since that early phase of the game for us to get behind. A goal will lift spirits inside the stand, though. We need something to cling on to, listeners. In comes a long throw. It's gone back from whence it came. I mean, the point has to be made that we are lacking a midfield, pretty much, to injury. And there aren't many clubs, I think, that can have no midfield apart from, patch-ups and sellotape. Good winning there by Mihailo Ivanovic. This gives Negley a chance to break forward. He's got Ballo with him on the left side. 48 minutes, I make it. This is Ballo, slack by Ballo. He's hold the chance to break down the left side. We'll do with it back though. Ball nearly breaks for Aziz. There's a sentence that sums up our afternoon, listeners. Free kick for Hull, that sums up the afternoon as well. Nearly and free kick for Hull. Bit of encouragement for the team. They've given the crowd precious little to get hold of and latch onto. But there it is. Ticking towards 60 minutes, listeners, and I don't really have much comfort to bring you at this stage of the game. Lions remain 2-0 down. Nothing much seems to be working for us, and the resources are scant on the bench. So hard to see a way back into this game for us. Don't want to be the harbinger of bad news, but it looks like this one's going to get away from us. We've certainly not tested Hull to any level since the second goal. 13 minutes I read on the BBC website, and since then it's been aimless and flat from the Millwall perspective. Trying to think of different ways to put it to you, dear listeners. Unfortunately, I find myself keep saying the same stuff. Aimless and flat, variations of flat and aimless, perhaps. Ballo coming out. Not been his day. He's certainly put the effort in. He's always got flair and a willingness to be ambitious, but not been his afternoon. Ray's the same. Not been his day either. Macaulay Langstaff's coming in for Ray's, so Marco and Langstaff enter the game, dear listeners. We're on 62 minutes. Half-time message from Doug in Sweden talking about the Lions, okay, we're up against it with the injury crisis, but not doing the basics. I've got to agree with you there, Doug. We've looked slack this afternoon. I know we've got this, that and the other going on at Calmont Road, but ball forwards, that's from Aziz, very poor ball there into the goalkeeper. But we've not done the basics of our approach right this afternoon so far, listeners. Anyway, we've got come towards 64 minutes. We're ticking towards the halfway point of the second half. There is still time, but it's looking a bleak prospect for me at the moment. Alex Neil talking to the fourth official there about the amount of time that they're tolerating for this kind of stuff. Football generally, I think, tolerate taking forever to reform after goals, walking slowly off the pitch. Ought to be rewarded with a yellow card if you really want to crack down on it, but I don't think football really does want to crack down on it, listeners. Everyone does it, it's in everyone's interest to keep it, I think. Call me a cynic. 67 minutes, I make it halfway through the second half, listeners. Precious little for me to cheer you up with, I'm afraid. This is a Hull City throw-in on the right side. I'll hold my comment till after this little phaser plays on when it comes. Balls to Joe Bryan. Yeah, Lions really not carving anything out of the game at the moment, and gone beyond aimless at times. It's been very poor, in my opinion. Injury crisis or no injury crisis. Key players not on form this afternoon, and a general lack of spirit, in my opinion. Exhausting week, yes. Injury crisis, yes. Anyway, it's a long ball from Alfie Doughty, finds him Marco on the left side. Before I go too miserablest on you, fires it into the area, fires it across goal. Was shot in from Aziz there, cleared off the line. Great cross, left more of that from Idemo Marco. Ball ran across the 6-yard box. Shot fired in from Aziz and cleared off the line there, listeners. First real chance from a Millwall perspective of the game since that early phase in proceedings. This is Camille Negley on the right side. Ball into box. Goalkeeper gets a punch to it. It's bouncing around. Appeals for a penalty. No, I didn't see enough of that, listeners, to tell you one way or the other. It's cleared. A free kick's been given, I guess. Big chance there, listeners. Gets away from us. The referee waited an eternity for the goal to be taken before blowing again to allow substitution to take place. Incompetence, these people. Hull in full game management mode, listeners, strolling around, taking forever to do the most simple tasks. Red card. Challenge on the Hull player has gone down. That's a red card for Aziz. I really didn't see the challenge there. Most innocuous passage of play, and Aziz has been shown a red after much deliberation, it seems. So it must be on the linesman's say so. Well, the Hull player's still on the floor. I didn't see that challenge. Well, whatever the challenge was, which I missed in real time, just put him on the floor and kept him there. So I suppose there's some benefit to it. A very hard task just became even harder, listeners. What are we on? 76 minutes. He's up, he's all right. The line's down to 10 men, listeners. That won't help our cause, will it? Fans filing for the exits. I think they've seen enough from the afternoon, listeners. It's been a pretty poor display by Millwall, in truth. That obviously is the cherry on the Mr. Kipling Bakewell tart for us this afternoon. That's sending off. Excuses, I suppose. Yeah, we lack a midfield. That's really badly shown out this afternoon for me. We've also looked pretty aimless and pointless, if you like. We haven't done basic stuff very, very well. I'd have to see the 2 goals again to see how poor defending was for those moves, but since then we've shown very little. Chance for Aziz is the only, in the second half, is anything that springs to my mind apart from that early brightness. As it is now, we're drifting, and this one has a feeling of a patient in a coma about the game. Lovely ball through. He's in Marco on the left side. What can he do? Way! 2-1! Idemo Marco from the left side. Beautiful ball forwards. Who was that, Negley? I don't know who got the ball forwards. Was that Negley? Who? Hey, Marco. Yeah, no, the ball forwards. I think that was Negley. Nicely put away by Idemo Marco. 2-1 Millwall. 2-1 to Hull. Is it a grandstand finish, dear listeners? Can't tell. 10 minutes. What can we do, listeners? Crowd rising from its slumber of the afternoon. I must admit, I didn't see anything coming from the game, listeners, but we do have 10 minutes plus any added time. There should be some added time to play with. The third goal will finish us. Let's not kid ourselves. But equally, that strike by Arrivederci Millwall has put new hope around the Den. 2-1 at the moment. This is Joe Bryan. All inside. This is Jake Cooper. Push, surely. Goal kick. Jake Cooper making a surging run to the box there. I thought he got pushed. The referee disagrees with that decision. Ball in from the left side. That's headed away by Jake Cooper. Back to a whole player, unfortunately. It's edge of the penalty area. Great tackle there by Taylor. What a tackle. Took it off him as he was surging into the 6-yard zone there, listeners. Arrivederci Millwall in the middle of the park. Gets nothing from the referee. Let's play flow. I thought he got clipped there. Ball in from the right. Headed in by the 9. That's your game, listeners, I'm afraid. Late surge, headed it well in by the right-sided cross. Man had space to power the ball in from close range. 3-1 to Hull City. No drama today, dear listeners, I'm afraid. People filing for the exits at the Dens and emptying rapidly now. That is game, set and match, really, listeners. Been a poor show by Millwall overall. I'm not going to make excuses. We had a makeshift starting 11, certainly a makeshift midfield, but we've lacked real finesse at any stage. I want to see the 2 opening goals over the decisive 2 strikes early on. Need to see them again. We look like we pulled apart quite easily. Late flurry, obviously, with that goal by Marco, but that's come to nothing now with that third goal. Very disappointing afternoon, dear listeners. Hard to find a man in a match this afternoon, listeners, given it's been such a disappointing afternoon, but I think Kramer's got to get it. Constant effort. It falls to Marco again on the left side. Very little to work with this afternoon. We haven't been brilliant with the ball. Obviously conceding those 2 early goals largely did for us. But I'm going to make Tristan Kramer, who never gives up, always got energy, always got running, and it's looked the best of our group out there this afternoon. I'd also mention Arrivederci playing out of position. I'd want to know where he stood with some of the goals. Oh, flick header on target there. Who was that? That was Taylor, I think. On target, the goalkeeper got down well to stop that, actually. There it is, finishes 3-1 to Hull City. Dear listeners, full-time whistle there. That was a tough watch, in truth. Early goals from Hull really settling matters. We seem to be pulled apart quite easily for both of their goals. We did make a bright start, but that's all gone out the window ever since then. So sending off for Aziz will hurt us. Injuries will hurt us. There we go. Finishes at the Den. Millwall 1, Hull City 3. Stay tuned.
This episode is presented by State Farm. Having insurance isn't the same as having State Farm. It's like needing the protection of an offensive guard on the football field, but getting an elementary school crossing guard. Sure, they're both guards, but you can only trust one to keep your quarterback safe when the game is on the line. So don't settle for just any insurance when there's State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Here's my 30-second story with Guinness. As soon as my sister and I get home for the holidays, we don't even unpack. We head straight to our pub. The bartender already knows our order, Guinness and fries. We laugh all night, catch up with old friends, and walk home with faces sore from smiling. It's one of my favorite nights of the year. That was my 30-second story with Guinness.
Guinness Draft Stout. Please enjoy responsibly. Imported by Diageo Beer Company, USA, New York, New York.
Your planet is now marked for death.
Marvel Studios' The Fantastic Four: First Steps is now streaming on Disney+.
We will protect you.
As a family.
Light them up, Johnny!
Marvel's first family is certified fresh on Rotten Tomatoes.
That is fantastic.
And critics say it's one of the best superhero movies of all time.
Oh!
Marvel Studios' The Fantastic Four First Steps. Now streaming on Disney+. Rated PG-13.
What time is it, Ben? It's clobbering time!
Achtung, Millwall.
Welcome back, dear listeners, after one of the tougher watches of the Millwall season so far. Joining me to chew over a very difficult afternoon at the Den is Michael Avery. Welcome, Mike.
Hello, mate. How you doing? All good. Happy Christmas. I'm getting
Happy
in early.
Christmas. Who's it? Ange. Happy Christmas, Ange.
Happy
Here's
Christmas,
your
Ange.
papers.
You have heard, you will be hearing from my solicitor.
I'm going to divorce Millwall listeners. No, I'm not. I'm not really. Difficult afternoon. Finished, obviously, Millwall 1, Hull City 3, sending off of Femi Aziz, just to add to the general pain of a very makeshift 11 there, Mike. A midfield of Camille Negley and Alfie Doughty is not an ideal situation to go into a top 6 clash with an okay but nothing brilliant Hull City. But after a bright start, we managed to make them look like Barcelona for those 2 goals. They really pulled us apart, didn't they, for both strikes?
Yeah, do you know what? I'll be honest with you. It's quite funny because there's someone I work with, and I was messaging them. They're a Charlton fan, and it's hilarious watching how they're plummeting down the table.
They are.
And after about 5 minutes, I actually messaged saying, "We'll win this about 3-0." Like we were all over them that first 5 minutes, and then literally completely against the run and play sucker punch, 1-0 they score.
Yeah.
And we never really recovered. And do you know what? I said this to someone I was sat with in the game, and I appreciate Millwall's injury list is as long as your arm, and we've said it for years, on this show, under Rowett, under Harris, under Joe Edward, that we always seem to get injured players, and we can never understand why officially. You can blame Calmont, you can blame what Lurch is putting in the soup or whatever, but we never officially know. But you say that, Nick, about a makeshift midfield. On paper, that's still, don't talk about the subs, but that's still an 11, especially after the 5-10 minute start we have, who should have been comfortably probably 1-0, 2-0 up at half time.
Oh, we had good chances. We started really well. I can remember a shot. I think it was Kramer. Seems a long while ago now we're talking, Mike, but I think Kramer put a shot in that the goalkeeper got down low and right and put it round the post. And there was another moment which has gone out of my head now. We're speaking Saturday evening, listeners, so forgive any lack of prep or I haven't even seen the goals back. But no, we started really brightly. And then, some will say we're playing an open style because we're kind of having to because of the injury crisis to the midfield. Not to have one single midfielder is quite an achievement. I can't think of anything quite like that.
But it was evident. Sorry to cut you off there. It was evident. And this is what I said. There's a guy who listens to the show, sits a couple of rows in front, and he said to me, "What would you do?" I said, "If I could, I'd change the entire midfield because we just ain't got one today." It was. I don't think there was any form of an existent midfield whatsoever. And yes, okay, you're putting tape and plasters over leaks in pipes, and you're putting square pegs in round holes. But like Jam, like we all know Jam Pot on social media, he made a good point where it's like, you're still sort of professional footballers, and you should have the basics of knowing roughly what to do. We just didn't seem to have a midfield.
No. Both Negley and I suppose Doughty is a good placer of the ball, and he's clearly experienced. Mike, he looks slow sometimes. I don't know. I'm not going to say that about him. I think quite a few players weren't on it today. I don't think Ray Spangura Williams was on it. I don't think Femi was on it. We'll come back to him later because I completely missed the incident in which he got sent off. So and I haven't seen it back. So I'm speaking very, very blind about that. But key players looking very under par. It's been a tough, exhausting week. So we've got injuries and we've got a tough week to throw into the mix. So they sound like excuses, though, Mike. And I don't. I think I agree with your point that professional football is at this level, second highest league in one of the key leagues of European football. You've got to be able to do some basic stuff, and we were quite slack in moments. The openness for both goals, I want to see them again. because I think that would be a key point there. Both goals seem to be
Yeah.
like knives through butter, down both flanks from
Yeah.
memory.
And the thing is, I don't want to criticise too much, because let's be brutally honest with you, well, not you, but the listeners as well. I'm approaching 40 now. You're just over 40, Nick, obviously.
Just the wrong side of
Yeah,
40. Yeah.
yeah, and a lot of our listeners are, we've looked at the demographic slightly older and everything like this. So we've really had the whole world. This is the best world. This is the highest we've been for ages, since this year and since that year and all this kind of stuff. So we can't be too critical. And obviously, we're getting results. Bristol City Derby away was a good
Yeah.
point as well. On like looking back in hindsight. But ultimately, and we've made jokes about it. We're third or fourth in the table with a minus goal difference. The top Coventry are 2-3-0 up in the first 5 minutes against a team like that today.
Yeah.
Middlesbrough would be winning early, and I think that we are not necessarily with a squad and with the injuries, but I think that the way we're getting our wins is papering over a lot of cracks. The Bristol City result, it was all about the hoo-ha at the end of the game.
Well, it was a dramatic win against the odds, against all
Yeah,
odds.
Taylor's goal the other day where he smashed it in from about 100 yards,
Yeah.
papered over the cracked, we're still conceding goals at home. Yes, we're winning games, and yeah, again, you can't be too critical. But I don't think we're as watertight as we think we are, if you get what I mean.
No, nor that the league table reflects. I mean,
Would reflect exactly
we're
that.
still fourth in the table, although it's become a much more condensed table. We did have a little bit of a clear blue water between us and teams behind us. But I was saying to the chap in front of me, it was quite tightly packed in Block 1 today, listeners. I don't know if the Groupon coupons are doing the rounds again. We had fair play to all the people that are there. It was a full house.
There was a lot of middle-aged men trying on football shirts in the club shop earlier on, so you could tell there was a few day trippers. Bless them.
There were a group of, I don't know if they're Korean or Chinese guys, and fair play to these boys. I'm not going to be the person that knocks this kind of thing, because they're all kitted out they're clearly from the Orient, not Leighton, Michael, the Orient, the Eastern Orient, the real Orient. And they all one had his cloth cap on with his little side Roaring Lion badge on the side. They were geared up. They were enjoying themselves. So they were.
They throw that in the bin when they leave.
Well, they spent some money in the shop. There were others. I think some were Scandinavians and whatnot, and they'd spent money. But yeah, that straying from the point, it was a tightly packed game, and we did open up quite well. But blimey, when it went wrong, I thought we were in for a cricket score when the second goal went in. Because we were just looking so open, so wide open, with nothing on the bench seemingly there to try and change things. Obviously it finished 2-0 in the first half. Sending off, I'm purely going from memory. Was that before? That was before Imaku's late goal. Let me have a quick look at the report. I think he was sent off.
It was. And
76 minutes.
The thing that got me, we're focusing on Millwall at the moment, which rightly so, it's a Millwall podcast and all that comes with it. But I was actually disappointed with the quality in the sense of that we were losing against. If you looked at the way they played, their 10 was their best player by absolute standout, million miles. He controlled everything. Who sat just behind the attack, or he might have been
Bellumi. He's man of the match on the BBC. Bellumi.
Yeah, he was best player by a mile for them. But I found everything they did was very jittery and very stuttery. They'd get the ball in the final third and they'd play a pass which should be in front of them. Right into feet, and then or they'd play a ball and it'd hit the back of their heel, or they'd have to take 2 or 3 touches to get it in. But we was allowing them to do that, and you're sort of thinking there just wasn't a sharpness today for me for Millwall. And you can blame injuries, and you can blame players out of position, and you can blame formations, and you can blame, as I said earlier on, plasters and tape over pipes. But we're a traditional club who relies on effort. And I think what summed it up today, when there was a pass that was from the goalkeeper to Cooper out to Sturge, and Sturge has watched it coming towards him, and then he's let the whole player just cut it out, and he's not even made any effort to get back and get the ball.
Sturge wasn't at the races today, and he went off at half time. Joe Bryan coming in for the second half. And also, I've got to say, sending off from Femi, he didn't look on it at all for me today, not by Femi standards. We set quite a high bar for Femi because, So at the same time, when you don't perform, Femi, I'm afraid you're going to hear the criticism because today wasn't your day. Race didn't look on it. I mean, whether that's tiredness, whether that's just, I don't know, general jadedness, I don't know what it is. But this was a big game today, Mike. And
Yeah.
I would have expected more fire in the belly. I mean, the Den certainly went flat after the second goal. I think I was privately expecting it to be a trouncing this afternoon. That didn't
Oh
happen.
no, I thought, but I genuinely said at half time, I said if we're not lucky, this will be 4-0 to them.
Yeah.
And I don't think they're that good. And you know the one thing, I mean, you'll remember as well back in the day. Do you remember when Sky used to do the red button with a player cam?
Yeah.
Where you could follow an individual player around the pitch.
Mm.
I a few times today, just coincidentally, I found myself like looking at Alex Neil. I've never seen him put his hand in his head in his hands as often as he did today. No, I'm not even saying it for comic effect, but you know when you just like he just seemed like, oh, nothing is going well for us today.
No,
You know, and it was just the frustration.
a couple of times in my kind of in-game comments, I've mentioned it's like a magician. Tommy Cooper used to do that, where every trick he tried to do went comically wrong. Everything we tried to do today went astray. The referee,
Yeah,
I've got to mention the referee, Gavin Ward, apparently. I use the word referee in loose terms. I mean, I know that you do a bit of reffing, Mike, but I mean, he did not give us an inch today, and I've not. People have mentioned a sending off that should have happened on the whole side. I haven't seen that. I can't speak or comment and won't. But we got nothing, no change out of the referee today at all, and they seemed to get every decision that went begging, which didn't help our cause any at all, did it?
Well, the thing that got me with the red card, going back to it now, I've only seen it once in real time, and even
Okay.
then was the corner of the eye stuff. So again, I can't really look at it too much. But it seemed like a tangle of bodies. He's lashed out Aziz, Aziz, but it was more it from my point of view, playing devil's advocate, and even with little Mill hat on,
Mm.
he seems to be lashing out because he was being held back a little bit. Now, if I watch it again and he wasn't, then more to fall him.
Mm.
But the thing that got me is the ref didn't see it, but also the lino didn't really flag for it, and no one seemed to pay attention to it until their bench or he was rolling around on the floor holding his chest, which you're going to do. It's game management. You're 2-0 up away from home. But there's a bit of me thinking, you've not seen that ref, and the lino's really not making a point of calling you over. Unless, I mean, trick of the trade there, listener, some of you obviously know this, or majority of you do. Lino flags have got the little button in the flagpole, and the ref wears something on his arm, or he'll wear it somewhere on
I
his leg.
didn't know
Somewhere.
that, Mike. I did not know that.
So what will happen is,
I've been illuminated, mate. I didn't know that.
yeah. Well, do you know what? Funny thing you say that. Just going off course a little bit. Was it's a way of getting referees' attention if something's going to happen.
Right.
And there was a cup final I did a few years ago where I ran the line, and he said to me, like, obviously stay where you are, but if there's anything that's going to happen, because it was a big game, cup final, a few hundred people at VCD,
Yeah.
press the button to let me know that something's happening. You can alert me to it, and it's the way obviously referees communicate and they can see. But unless he's pressed that button, the lino, which he might have done,
Mm.
he's shown no indication that he's seen that.
No.
You know,
I didn't see the incident because I was up in Birdshite Corner, but it looked innocuous. And I say I didn't see it, it's because I was following the ball, and I just didn't see any kind of anything untoward there. So, maybe when I've seen the replays, maybe I'll change my view, but I couldn't see anything out of the ordinary there. But, the red card got brandished, and that was really game, set, and match at that point. Because
well, do you know the thing that got me with the referee as well? Sorry, Nick, and I'll just keep on it. But the thing that got me is that as well, normally when you do these courses and when you referee and all this kind of stuff, and I've never been one that always sort of believes, when you hear like Mourinho go, we need to protect the players, or Guardiola used to say about Messi, you've got to protect him because he gets kicked and all this stuff. There was an element today where Kramer, towards the last 5-10 minutes of the game, every time he got the ball, he was already on a yellow card. He's obviously agitated. Hull were going for him. Like you could see them sprinting to go after him and nip at his ankles and give him a push and give him a shove and all this kind of
shirt
stuff.
pulling. He nearly reacted to it late. I saw that.
Yeah, and there was a bit of me where I actually said to the guys around me, I said the referee really should be either pulling Kramer in to say, look, calm down a
Cool
little
it.
bit,
Yeah.
cool it down, or say pull the whole players in and go like pack it in a little bit. Nah, that's a little bit of a kind of like the referee's job isn't to send people off or be the panto villain. The referee's job is just let the game flow and not really meant to know you're there. everyone knew the ref was there today.
Oh, the persistent impression I got of the game today was the referee's whistle blowing for every minor offence, moving the ball. There was one point late where you're getting frustrated. He moved the ball from 5 yards sideways. You think, what's the point? You want to get the game going again, restart. But there we are. We complain a lot about the referees that we get, Michael, and I think sometimes there's a sense of siege mentality at the Den. But today's ref certainly didn't help any
No.
any sense of paranoia that any Millwall fan might have had.
If you look at the third goal has come from a referee's decision. I mean, like I was one of them guilty. Like,
Well, Mark, who seemed to be balked, he looked balked at the far end from where I'm standing.
Yeah.
And then broken out and scored.
Yeah, there was a foul that led to the ball being broken out wide, which led to the cross coming in, which led to the goal. Now, I know you can argue there's 3 or 4 phases of play after the original incident that's caused them to score, and we should have closed down. And I get all that. I totally get it. But if there was no foul in the first place, the ball wouldn't even be in a position where we'd need to close it down.
Yeah.
And but saying that though, I think the referee, and this is what I said at the end of the game. You obviously stayed till the end, Nick. So do I, because I always think you should stay right to the end to either clap them off or let them know what you think of them. I think Millwall players got the reception they got being clapped off the field due to how bad the referee was. I think if it was just a sort of normal neutral referee, nothing happened, he let the game flow. If there would have been a performance like it was today, they maybe not would have got the round of applause they did. Because without trying to be too negative, I don't think they deserved the ovation they got. Because I don't think there was a great deal of effort.
No, that was. That was the siege mentality. I mean, obviously, the 76th minute, Aziz leaves the pitch. I just wanted to mention the goal, which was actually a really nice ball forward from memory. I see it. It's an assist credited to Doughty. In real time, I missed it. I thought it was Negley. It's Doughty that put the ball forward into the path of Mark, who buried it. And fair play. There's a boy there that gives you 100% every time he comes in. He's been given a tough brief today, and he's come and got a goal. And for a few minutes, a few flickering moments, hope was springing eternal at the Den. So
hope that kills you.
It's the hope that kills you. And then obviously, as we've just said, the third goal, which was a controversial take on whether Imarka was balked at one end and then a break, and I think it was a ball in from the right side. Well finished by their striker.
McBurney, wasn't it? He's a good player, and that's the thing. It's like, again, we talk about resources and all this kind of thing, in the sense that we know the new business model now. We know we're going to buy cheap and sell expensive. We know that's what it's going to be. We did it with Tanganga, earlier in the season. We know that's what it is. But I mean, Hull, they're not exactly a major money bag player anymore. They ain't got any Premier League parachute money anymore. We'd love a McBurney on our side, let's be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, in fairness, we talk a lot on these shows, and all the podcasts mention resources, and we are a small player in a big pond of the Championship. But that said, I mean, investment has been made by the club. We have signed decent players. It's the injury list that's killing us. With Mihailo Ivanovic, and he wasn't a best day, but he produced some nice touches this afternoon. But he's ploughing a very, very lonely role. This is the one striker we've got. They brought in Langstaff for Reece. But I mean, he's not really a. I love McCauley, but he's not really at this level.
No.
To lose Coburn and have no one else that's seemingly available from the second string to come in and help. And then to have no midfield. When at points in this season we've been criticising for having too many midfielders, well, suddenly now we've got 0 from having an overdose of them. I suppose that's luck of the football draw. We'll never get to the bottom of why we've been afflicted with injuries so much this season. I don't think. When we mentioned it a few weeks ago to Mark Fairbrother, we did an interview with Mark online, the other podcasters too, and we brought up the subject.
It's been embargoed. You're not allowed to tell him. Nick knows everything, listener.
Well, no,
he knows everything was wrong. He's embargoed.
We've brought up the subject of injuries, but I got a sense. I don't know if it was sensitive, but the club has, kind of went to some effort to show every club's got a lot of injuries. So I'm sure they do. and we only speak with our Millwall glasses on, but blimey, it does seem like we've been hard hit. I went through the list on Wikipedia of our squad, and I was crossing half the squad out for a possible starting 11. I thought, well, maybe we'll move Doughty into the midfield, which is indeed how we did it today. But that doesn't help. And now we've lost Femi for, I guess, a 3-game suspension with a red card.
Yeah, violent conduct probably. Yeah,
Yeah,
especially if he's lashing out of his studs.
yeah. So that's him out for Blackburn, Ipswich, and the Stoke game. So there we are.
At least he's got Christmas off.
Happy Christmas, Femi.
Yeah, he's sitting there cutting up his turkey on Boxing Day with his bubble and squeak.
Don't post about how it's nice to play a game of Monopoly with your family though. Who was the was it Chadwick who did that? Was it the Chaplow? Richard Chaplow.
Yeah.
Do you remember that famous incident when we got stuffed? I think somewhere at 6-1. I think it might have been at Sunderland or Portsmouth.
I'll tell you what, here's the question though, because you were saying about how there's some clear water between us and all this. And I was saying it earlier on.
Not anymore. We were back on the rocks now.
Not anymore, no, exactly. But I said this earlier on about Wrexham as an example, like our Hollywood Moneybags. But they've been crazy the last 5-6 games. Like they were near the bottom of the table when they were talking about Parkinson going, which whether you like Parkinson or not, I think it's ridiculous to have a manager go from the conference all the way to the championship. And you think about sacking him, it's ridiculous. But then they won about 3-4 games, went up to 8th. They've lost a few or not good results. They're now back down the bottom.
Yeah.
We've got to be a little bit careful that a slide don't come in because Derby and Hull, regardless Hull being anywhere near that top 6, if you're a serious contender, you've got to be winning at least one of these games.
We've got to avoid relegation, listeners. That's 50-point relegation mark is still 15 points away. There we are.
And all those old enough to remember, we nearly went down with 54 one year, didn't we?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that was the 95-96 season when we were topping the table under Mick McCarthy. More of whom on another show, Mick McCarthy. I'm going to talk about him separately. Michael, I'm going to go and have myself a lager beer of some sort from the fridge and console my feelings on this Saturday night. So a big thank you to Michael though for joining me at very short notice. Thank you, Mike.
Ho, ho, ho.
When the holidays start to feel a bit repetitive, reach for a Sprite Winter Spiced Cranberry and put your twist on tradition. A bold cranberry and winter spice flavor fusion, Sprite Winter Spiced Cranberry is a refreshing way to shake things up this sipping season. And only for a limited time. Sprite. Obey your thirst.
Oh, Hilton stay, your beds are soft and cozy. No lumpy couch, no stiff futon, no shower line at crack of dawn. Oh, Hilton stay.
When you want holiday comfort you can count on, it matters where you stay. Enjoy comfortable rooms and friendly service when you stay with Hilton instead. Save up to 25% this season when you book with Hilton. Hilton for the stay. Terms apply.
This episode is brought to you by Indeed. You're ready to move your business forward, but first, you need to find the right team. Start your search with Indeed Sponsored Jobs. It can help you reach qualified candidates fast, ensuring your listing is the first one they see. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs are 90% more likely to report a hire than non-sponsored jobs. See the results for yourself. Get a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
Achtung, Millwall.
Welcome back to the show, dear listeners. For the final part, it's great to have back show regular Ben Anthony. How are you, Ben?
I'm all right, Nick. I'm here for now. We should peek behind the curtain that we've had more kickoffs than yesterday's football match.
Yeah, in a similar vein to yesterday's performance, listeners, this call between Ben and I has been rather disjointed and great intentions, but nothing quite working. But we are at last speaking to each other, so good to have you on the show, mate.
Thanks for having me.
Yesterday's game, 3-1 loss, obviously, a very frustrating, very disappointing outcome, and a very disjointed performance because there was actually some fairly good moments on occasions, especially in the first half. But we opened brightly, and I haven't really seen much of the game. There's the edited highlights normally have long form highlights on the official website, but just a short one. But we look so wide open for both the opening goals, Ben, and that's really, really frustrating, especially the first one, I thought.
The impression I got is it showed how much work players like Denor and Billy Mitchell,
Yeah.
those central midfielders, the work that they do that goes unsung, I think was glaringly missing yesterday. And I don't think you can blame the two players that were put in there. That's not their position. But particularly the two goals, in the first, whatever it was, 15 minutes, it was
15, yeah.
kind of playing straight through, players not quite on the ball. And I think we pushed forward a little bit too much, our wing backs, and sort of even at times Cooper and Taylor both going forwards and things like that. I just
Yeah.
thought we left ourselves open, and I think it showed glaringly the gaps that were left by the likes of Denor and Mitchell that would have been closed by those players.
I think to some extent, I don't know if you'd agree with this, Ben. I mean, obviously, we've got an injury list as long as your arm and my arm combined. So to some extent, it's going to be a makeshift midfield with Negley and Alfie Doughty was the choice in midfield, which is inbuilt that they're both players that are going to go forwards rather than do the hard yards that you've just mentioned, the grindy kind of stuff that prevents the other side from getting opportunities, and we just didn't have the players able to do that. So we're always going to go at it, and we did. I think we had the smell of blood in our noses in the opening minutes. I thought we're going to get one, and we could go and get more because we were just looking on fire. I think the first chance was a Kramer shot inside the first minute that the goalkeeper did well for to get it away, and there are other opportunities in that early phase. So I suppose Alex Neil's thinking, as a general approach, as his philosophy, seems to favour the attack where he can. He's not one to sit back and accept draws. He wants 3 points. And I think yesterday, circumstances forced him forward. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I think so. He spoke in interviews about us being. They always use this word transition, and both managers were saying, "Oh, we had to be really good on the transition."
Yeah.
But I think I sort of think of it as counter-attacking. We had to be prepared.
Breaking from defence.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
right.
And I think we left ourselves a bit open in that instance, but it did that first sort of 5-10 minutes. It looked like it was all us,
Yeah.
and it was almost we were destined to go 1-0 up, and of course they ran through once and did what we've seen happen so many times.
I mean, defensively on both goals. I mean, I take your point absolutely. This, both Negley and Doughty playing out of position, but I think the ball seems to trickle in front of Doughty from the right side for the first goal, and it almost like he watches it go past him in a fascinated yet unconcerned way to be tapped in close by the whole forward. We could have done a lot better, I think, with both goals. They were both defensive errors, in truth, and we're playing a top six side, and you can't afford that kind of mistake, unfortunately, Ben. So we were very quickly 2-0 down, despite some bright early stuff. And after that, we seemed to be deflated. I thought the Den was rather stunned, I think, by that turn of events. We never really got our way back into the game overall. Even in the second half, I think Alex Neil said that we put everything out there on the pitch. I didn't get. We had one chance at Springstone. I think Aziz had a shot off the line prior to the kind of final phase of the game. But I don't think we carved out much in the way of open opportunities in that second half either. Really. Not enough to get back into the game. 2-0 down.
Yeah, we lost a bit of momentum, I think, and their confidence grew, didn't it? They grew into the game a bit more. Yeah, it was a tricky game. It's a very off day, and sort of we've been so good for a fairly sustained period of time, and we're in such a good position in terms of the race for top six. So we can chalk one down to an bad day at the office and a bit of bad luck.
Bad day. And a referee, I can't go much further without really mentioning the referee. I mean, inside the stadium, I found him an irritant rather than the decisive fact that others have mentioned. There were incidents happened thorough. I didn't see enough of the Aziz sending off to give any comment. Even on the replay that I've just looked at, you can't really tell. I couldn't tangle the two bodies. You can't really see much, but there were a number of incidents where decisions were given against us or not given for us. And he was a major player in the drama, the referee, and that's never a good sign, is it, when the referee is the main talking point?
Yeah, I mean, it to be right, to put it right, the referee is not the reason we lost the game.
No,
We
I agree.
lost the game because of our defensive mistakes, and the situation we've got in terms of personnel. That's why we lost that game. The referee didn't help matters, and he had a really poor performance. I don't think I've heard anyone say that the referee didn't have a bad day.
No.
I think it is a red card for Aziz, to be honest. I think
Did he stamp on him? I couldn't really tell.
yeah,
On
he's
I look at a small screen.
they tangled up, and he's in
Right.
getting away. He's kind of pushed, but he's pushed with his studs into the guy's body. So it looked like it was out of frustration, and he's just kicked out as he's tried to get up.
Right.
And I think the linesman's given it. I don't think the referee's even seen it. I think the linesman's called attention to it, but I think it is a red card. However, there's the kicking the ball away for what should have been a second, which was just before.
I missed that in real time, but there's
Yeah.
been a big point of controversy online, hasn't it?
Yeah.
One of the whole players kicked the ball away already on a yellow, should have got a second and didn't.
Yeah, and that was pretty blatant, and that was right in front of the ref, and I think he bottled it, to be honest, in that instance. When they scored their second goal, I've seen comment on this that the player in celebration booted the football out of the stands, which
Yeah.
I've seen given as a yellow before as well. But I mean, that's one decision, but that's not like the second yellow decision. I think that's a bit
No.
different. And then I think the other one that's been commented on, I do think Imarku, I think he's actually fouled twice in the centre circle in the
Pressing for an
build-up to their
equaliser.
third
Yeah.
So they are two, I'd say, major errors, and he was just a bit of a pedantic little sod, wasn't he? But I think two key decisions that he got wrong. However, I think we lost the game based on our performance, not based on his.
I think that's fair. I mean, I was surprised to read. I'm just looking at news at Den while I'm talking to you, Ben. That I didn't know this, but Alex Neil was booked in the late phase. He picked up a yellow. Proper Millwall manager, listeners, involved in the brawl last week, and he's got a yellow now. As you're saying in this little piece here, he's never been. He was only ever been booked at a previous club at Middlesbrough when a man was sent off unjustly, as he puts it. Other than that, he's always been fairly calm. But at Millwall, it must be the Millwall factor, Ben. It's drawing him into the maelstrom that is the Den.
I think he said it was because he went up to talk to the fourth official and half the bench followed him. And he said it was a failure to control the bench, which, considering last week's activity, I'm not surprised.
Well, if it didn't kick off, it didn't involve a brawl, I think he has controlled them. Anyway, he got a yellow. He says here, that just to quote the news at Den, Alex Neil says, I thought the booking was a bit harsh, his own booking. What he told me was I was the first to go over, and the rest of the bench went over with me. He said something and I went okay and walked away. Then Gavin appeared and surprised me by going, right, there's a booking. What he said to me was I didn't control the rest of the bench.
There you go.
That's fine. There we go. He very diplomatically puts it in different terms on the BBC website. We really do need him in the diplomatic service, listeners. He says he's aggrieved by decisions. He admits he felt aggrieved. I certainly feel aggrieved. I need to look at the Aziz red card book back, he says. There's a lot of emotions. We were a bit naive in terms of the number of men we committed and got hurt in transitions. That word again that you mentioned already there, Ben. So, there we are. I think, we've been running on empty. The performance at Bristol last week was an exhausting one, and we looked tired at Derby, I thought, in the week. We were fortunate to get in front, and then to give that up, I think probably just tells you this squad is running on an empty petrol tank at the moment, Ben.
Yeah, we desperately need some reinforcements to come back, and we need this week, where there's not a game midweek and they can have a bit of a rest.
Yeah,
we need that because I thought Kramer looked leggy. I thought Ivanovic, who is trying hard, but he's so isolated, and he was shattered at the end. There's a few of them out there that are sort of just trying to get through, and it's hard at the minute, isn't it?
It is. It is. We won't keep saying the same reasons. We all know the reasons, but it is difficult when you've got players. Ivanovic has been doing the full 90 each of the games. There's 3 games in a week, and he's done the full 90 in each of them.
Yeah.
That's a very tough role that he's got there, Ben. I think he's improving. Some might disagree with that, but I think he's coming along. Like, you can see a player in there, and some of the skillful touches he's got on him. A number of times yesterday, he took the ball down from passes that were up in the air and coming down. He's taken them and turned with them. Okay, it's not come to much, but the skill of the boy, I think, is evident. So, he's very much a work in progress. You could probably do with a few days' rest. We could do with another maybe like a deluge of rain in the Blackburn area to actually delay that one in with a waterlogged pitch again, couldn't we? But it's a 12:30 start next Saturday, last one before Christmas. And then another tight period. I mean, we've got a game on Boxing Day, 1:00 start, midweek against Bristol. That's going to be a full-on game with what happened last week, and then Southampton on New Year's Day. So it's going to be a fairly taxing period, and we're not even into January at that point. Well, we get Southampton away January the 1st. But we do desperately need some reinforcements. Where would you reinforce most urgently, Ben? Which position, if you had one choice, which would you select?
In terms of getting a player in?
Yeah.
Right. I mean, right now, the obvious thing to say is I'd get a central midfielder in on loan.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd buy one. I think we've got enough. But
Loan someone in.
Yeah, we just need someone who can play some games. The other position I think needs something is potentially right back. I think we've kind of said that since the start of the season. We wanted a right back. So they're the 2 that I'd be looking at. I know lots of people will be saying striker, but we seem to say striker.
Well, that was my instinct. I don't know when Coburn's due back. There was some controversy online yesterday. It was reported incorrectly, I believe, that he's had a setback. I have it on the highest authority, Ben, that he's not had a setback, that he's on course for his recovery. I don't know when he's going to be recovered, but he's not had a setback.
I think I'd heard January somewhere, that he's due back in January.
In training, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that would be welcome. I mean, Ivanovic does need support up front. But I think you're right. I mean, with the the decimation of our midfield, there were points earlier in the season where people were saying we've got too many midfielders, but it would be great to have one available. I don't know if Billy Mitchell's available. He can't come straight back into the squad from injury and do a 90 next week. So we're still going to be a little bit on a wing and a prayer at Ewood Park next week. So it's a tough period. We've just got to kind of cling on, really, Ben. I think we're doing very well in table-wise in the playoff zone. And that is some achievement at the halfway point of what is a very tough league. So, I know people say it's not a brilliant league, but it's a pretty tough league. Everyone can beat everyone in this division. So to be in the frame, I think, is some achievement.
Yeah, it really is.
And Alex Neil-wise,
Yeah, and we're talking about, this is a team where most commentators were saying we'd finish sort of just outside the playoff places, sort of traditional 8th, and so far we're ahead of that, and we're not out of the top 2 discussion. So we're in a very unusual position for us, and it's one that we should have some pride in. But like a lot of the professionals will say, nothing's done yet. We've got a long way to go, and we need to pull it out of the bag in the second half of the season as well.
Alex Neil made that very point in the interview. I think it was with BBC London. He said we've not won anything yet. We've done nothing yet. So, and that's the hard-nosed professional manager viewpoint, isn't it? And it's true. At the top, Coventry 47. They look like they have got enough in their armoury to run away with the league. I think second half of the season. I know they've had a bit of a wobble of late, but Middlesbrough look like they're set for second, and you're right. We're not out of it yet. 7 points is not much, but we're coming towards the halfway point of the season. But it's some achievement to be in the mix, and I think that's probably the best way to close today's show, Ben. I just wanted to say a huge thank you to everyone that's been buying the Achtung calendars. There are still some with Kelly at the Food Hub. I don't know if many more.
Mine yesterday, Nick.
Oh, did you get one? Oh, well thank you very much. That goes straight into the collection tin for the Food Hub. It does great work. I've got to pass over some more money. I'll do a little divvy up before Christmas, hopefully, to give a final total, but I'm certainly on course for the 500 quid that I set myself to achieve. So I want to say a big thank you to you, Ben, and everybody that's been buying them by post or in person. It's nice to be able to do something for.
It's a really good cause. It's a really good product. So if you haven't got one yet, get it while you can, listeners. It's very good.
Designed by my own fair hand, dear listeners. Big thank you to the club for and to Brian Tonks for allowing me the photographs, which are Tonks's photos, copyrighted to him. But that's a really big gesture. So I want to say thank you before we close. Ben, great to see you again, mate. Good to talk to you. Thanks for coming on the show Sunday morning.
Yeah, pleasure, mate. Anytime.
And thank you to you too, dear listeners, for listening to this edition. I'll be back tomorrow with Merv and the voicemail show, so stay tuned for that. But for now, from Ben and myself, it's Arrivederci Millwall. Bye for now.
Achtung, Millwall.
Who do you want to watch?
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.